Cyprus, the third largest island in the Mediterranean, with a surface area of 9,251 square kilometers. Its population is 793,000, of whom 81% are Greek Cypriots and 11% Turkish Cypriots confined in the northern part occupied by Turkey since 1974. Another 8% are foreigners residing or working in Cyprus. The capital, Lefkosia, has a population of almost 200,000, and it's the island's only landlocked city. Since the 1974 Turkish invasion, it's also the only city in the world that remains forcibly divided. All the other towns in the south are coastal, namely Limassol to the southwest, which is the second largest, Larnaca to the southeast, and Paphos to the west. The main geographical features of the island are two massive mountain chains separated by an expansive plain. The Troodos Range takes up most of the central western part of the island, with its highest peak rising to 1,951 meters above sea level. The Pentadactylos Range runs most of the length along the extreme northern part of the island and reaches up to 1,024 meters. Climate-wise, Cyprus would have shared in the bad luck of most of its Middle East and North Africa neighbors if it hadn't been for its mountainous terrain. Thanks mainly to the Troodos Range, it manages to get by with an annual total rainfall of 500 millimeters, to which must be added the irregular snowfall that occurs above 1,000 meters in the winter months. Most of the rainwater is caught in dams, which have been constructed over a long period as an official policy to confront the island's water shortage problem. Temperatures average 32 degrees Celsius in July and August, with the heat beginning to recede in mid-September. Visitors will wonder at how the sizzling, arid Cyprus they knew in the summertime can turn so green in the winter, and they'll marvel at the colorful intensity of its spring. This is because Cyprus is never short of sunshine all the year round, and nature makes the best of it and of whatever little rainfall there is. Cypriot history starts in the pre-Neolithic age. The earliest human settlements appear about the 8th millennium BC. As early as 1400 BC, Mycenaeans from Greece started coming to Cyprus as merchants at first, and then began to settle in waves, spreading their language and culture all over the island. One of the most important deities of the Greek pantheon, the love goddess Aphrodite, was born and worshipped in Cyprus. According to the legend, she rose from the sea foam. The exact location of her birth is still visited by thousands of locals and visitors all the year round. After a series of conquerors, the Romans in 30 BC made Cyprus one of their provinces, shifting the island's capital to Paphos. It was here that a totally new chapter in the history of Cyprus was opened, and for which we read about in the Acts of the Apostles. In AD 45, St. Paul, accompanied by Barnabas, came to the island and converted the Roman proconsul Sergius Paulus to Christianity, the first Roman official to embrace the new religion. After the Romans, Byzantine rule lasted for nearly 1,000 years. From about 640 to 960, the island became a target for pirate and Arab raids that caused great hardships to the inhabitants. Because of its geographical position, Cyprus found itself on the route of the Western Crusaders to the Holy Land. The King of England, Richard the Lionheart, conquered the island and a year later sold it to the Knights Templar. The Templars found the locals too troublesome to rule and in their turn sold it to Guy de Lusignan, deposed French King of Jerusalem, who was in search of a new crown. Through Queen Catherine Cornaro, Cyprus passed peacefully from the Franks to the Venetians in 1489. The Venetians immediately set about fortifying Famagusta and Nicosia with defensive walls. The fortifications alone, however, could not withstand the onslaught of a 100,000-strong, fully equipped Turkish army. Nicosia fell in July 1570, and Famagusta followed in 1571. The Turks left Cyprus of their own accord in 1878. leasing it to Britain in exchange for protection against Russia. Hopes for national emancipation after the war were dashed, and in 1955 the Greek Cypriots embarked on an armed anti-colonial struggle which ended with the signing of the London-Zurich Agreements of 1959. An independent Republic of Cyprus was established the following year. Notwithstanding its political problem and forcible division, Cyprus is included in the new enlargement of the European Union and will formally take its seat in Brussels on May 1, 2004. Cyprus's system of government is that of a presidential republic. There's a single House of Representatives composed of 56 deputies renewable every 4 years on a proportional representation system. The legal system of Cyprus is largely based on the British common law system, and the administration of justice is exercised by an independent judiciary. Cyprus is a member of the United Nations and other international organizations. Cyprus's successful bid to join the European Union reflects mainly on its sound economic performance and stability. It's generally acknowledged as no mean feat for a small island that came out of colonial isolation only 42 years ago and still suffers the consequences of foreign invasion and occupation of part of its territory to be able to satisfy all the strict criteria of EU membership. Indeed, Cyprus ranks first among the 10 new enlargement countries in the harmonization effort with the European acquis. The per capita income of $13,125 classifies Cyprus among the high-income countries. Cyprus makes up for its lack of natural resources by turning to account its good climate, its geographical position, and the creative drive of its people. These attributes have enhanced the development of the services sector, making it the main engine for economic growth in recent years. The tourist industry is by far the most important. The number of visitors to the island has in recent years fluctuated around 2.5 million, attracted not only by the sun and the sea, but also by the picturesque mountain resorts, the rich 9,000-year-old culture of Cyprus, and the friendliness and hospitality of its people. In addition, highly developed cruise lines offer foreign visitors the opportunity to maximize their time and money by sailing to neighboring countries such as Egypt, Lebanon, and the Greek islands. Telecommunications have expanded rapidly in recent years through the Cyprus Telecommunications Authority, making the island the strongest telecommunications hub in the Eastern Mediterranean. Trade has always been one of the main sectors of the Cyprus economy, contributing considerably to the economic growth of the island. Cyprus has a well-developed road network with modern highways linking its major cities and other roads making every part of the island easily accessible. The islanders rely heavily on the private car, but efforts are underway to improve the public transport system.